Good afternoon. First of all, let me thank Shri Saju sir and the St. Thomas Trust for giving me this opportunity to interact with you today afternoon. I am not from teaching side, though I have taken some seminars and classes for some of the engineering colleges, including the engineering college under St. Thomas Trust. And as teachers, all of you will agree with me, taking a post-lunch session is a difficult task for a teacher, right? But then what you do to make a post-lunch session more effective? Can somebody give some feedback? What you do, madam, normally? Actual situation, what do you do with the children? Physical activities. But I am not able to make any physical activities with you. Anything else? Making it more interactive, right? So that's what I need. So let us make it more interactive, and I may ask some questions from that point of view. So, but when you ask some questions to the children, what do you expect? Right. So same thing I also expect, right? So let us start today's topic, technology in education. So this aspect has come more relevant after COVID. All of you are aware of that. But then this changes or the impact, the induction of technology in education sector was happening over a long period. In all technological advancement, the impact of technology in education sector was visible. But prominently it was felt during the COVID time. Let us see some of the changes which happened. So just this video before coming to the topic.
Instead of imagining how things work just from reading theories and theses, how beautiful would it be when you learn the same through hands-on? On that note, will you dissect a frog in high school if given in practice sessions? Will you? Well, I did, and I hated it. If you fall into my category, don't worry. The future has better options for us. AR, augmented reality, VR, virtual reality, mobile-style classroom. AI and much more can replace that gruesome froggy experience. Want to walk on the moon? Want to learn about Mars? Explore the deep ocean? And what not possibilities are wide open? There's a saying, education is a passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Like the quote suggests, what if the future brings incredible advancements in education and wants you to get ready for that trendy tomorrow from today? But the question is, how is technology changing the way we teach? How are the digital trends shaping the current education system? What are the impacts of exponential technologies on education? What are the engaging ways to use technology in the classroom? And how effective future education will be?
Yeah, that was just a short video on the impact of technology in education sector. You might have listened to so many jargons in that, augmented reality, virtual reality and all that. Some of you may be thinking these are all future technologies. It's not so. Many of these technologies which we are going to discuss today, it's available right now. And some of the platforms, like some of the commercial educational platforms, like say Byju's and all, why it's so popular? It's using some of the technologies, including maybe not full AI, but a part of AI, this virtual augmented reality and all that. So the technology can make a big difference in education sector. It's obvious. But then the driving forces for adopting technology in education sector, we can say there are two aspects. One is COVID related needs. As I mentioned earlier, the impact of technology was visible to everyone, including the urban and rural areas after COVID. See, COVID has created a space for technology in every aspect of our life. But then there is another, basically what we are discussing or focusing more on today is on the need for improving quality of education, how technology can help in improving quality of education. That is our main focus. COVID is another aspect. So these are the two driving forces which are forcing us to adopt technology in education sector, we can say. Now, digital technology to meet the challenges of education during COVID. First, let us take the impact of COVID in adopting technology in education sector. Basically, during COVID, we have seen a digital transformation has happened in all segments of our life, right? Whether it is business activities or our official work from home, and financial transactions, education, everywhere. But there is one more aspect which you may not have noticed, like this digital awareness. See, when COVID has happened, it was not a pre-planned development, we can say. There was a necessity, and there was a necessity for platforms to support, to take care of the demand created by the COVID situation. But then one is the availability of technology or platforms. Second is how much competent the people who are handling this technology, how much they are competent. And all of you might have noticed, among the young generation or the children, nobody had to teach them how to use the platforms, right? Any classes were taken for the children, how you have to use the online platforms? No, right? But teachers, it was required, right? Why? Because the young generation today, they are surrounded by digital technology from birth, right from birth, right? The environment is completely different from our generation. They are much more advanced, or they are much more competent in digital environment compared to our generation, we can say. Like social media, smartphones, tablet and internet access. Nobody have to teach them. But then there are many roles which are to be played by as teachers from your side. That is what we are going to discuss. Like some of the concerns related to this COVID demand that I am discussing in the initial slides. So one issue which we have faced is the access to various platforms. Online platforms or the digital platforms, various types of access devices. There was a huge demand during COVID time, and there are various options available: smartphones, tab, laptop, etc. Right? Then second aspect is data connectivity. You need a device. Second aspect is you have to connect to the internet. So data connectivity, how it is ensured? There are various options there also. ADSL, conventional or copper broadband modems are available. Then fiber connection, that is the latest trend, fiber connectivity, or Wi-Fi based on any of the technology like fiber, or there are specific under Kerala State IT department, Wi-Fi connectivity is available in many pockets. Mobile data access, there are various platforms, 3G, 4G or 5G, there are many Gs coming. So there are different aspects related to this COVID related demand. And then third aspect is learning management systems. You may be using different platforms for as a learning management system like Google Classroom, Zoom or Moodle. So there are various platforms. But then this demand for the connectivity and the access devices, that was a major concern during COVID time. All of you are aware also. Some of the schools, like particularly government schools and the children in the rural area or tribal area, connectivity was a major concern, and also even if connectivity is available, they need devices. And here, see, maybe the children here, they are able to afford, say, a smartphone or at least a smartphone. But then in future, the subsequent slides will be discussing, technology is going to play a major role even after COVID. The education sector itself, a lot of changes are happening. And then you need access devices to take care of such environment. So this smartphone may not be enough for the children in higher classes or degree courses. So then you have to think of say a tab or laptop. So as a school, what you can do to take care of such demands? Like in the subsequent, I will be covering, there is a digital divide existing in our society, right? Particularly rural area, between rural and urban areas, there is a digital divide. Even among urban students also, there is a divide. Like some of the people, they are not able to afford certain devices or, gadgets or connectivity. But then as a school, what you can do, maybe as a school, you cannot take the responsibility for arranging devices to the children. But today we must understand, all business activities are working on the principle of ODM. If there is more ODM, there is a possibility of negotiation for the prices or your expectation. But then it's called a collective bargaining. Say, let us say, as a school, for say that the forums like PTA, you can discuss with some of the agencies to arrange, say, tab for the children at an affordable rate. If there is a big volume, definitely the companies will be willing to discuss with the concerned agencies. So that is one suggestion, and just I am suggesting from my side. Similarly, data connectivity also. There are many operators offering various platforms. First, the campus should be properly data connected campus. The students should have the facility at their home. So that also, as a forum, PTA and all can play a major role, because this is not ending with the COVID, this requirement. It has, the boom has happened during COVID time, but it is going to continue henceforth. That's what I just wanted to bring it to your attention. Now say post-COVID, what will be the situation, education scenario? Just now before starting the session, we were having a discussion with Matthew George sir and our secretary also. And then see, even after COVID, many of the companies, they are happy with the work from home or online platforms. Because companies, they are expected, they are finding that work from home arrangement is, they are very happy because their productivity has increased and their expenditure has reduced. But that may not be completely applicable for education segment, because face-to-face interaction is also required. Many things like emotional support or proper assessment of the children, that cannot be covered through online classes alone. So maybe you are happy with the work from home, right? But then that will not continue. It will be a blended type of situation, partly online and partly offline. Like the offline classes will continue, but to supplement that, the online type of platforms will be there henceforth post-COVID also. That is what is expected. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there are some issues to be addressed when you think about technology adoption in education sector. One is the digital divide, which I already mentioned. So how we can address, I already suggested some methods. So we have to ensure that all the children are having access facility to the latest digital environment. Second point is informed utilization of digital technology. There are digital platforms available, various type of platforms are available. All technological advancement, any technology can be used or misused, right? So possible misuse of technology by the children, that also we should be aware. And some of the children, without knowing the impact or the seriousness of some of the type of issues, they land into trouble. So we should be able to guide them properly. So they should be able to take informed decision how to utilize digital technologies in everyday life. Because digital technologies are going to make a big difference in our day-to-day life, right? So these two aspects we have to take care. Now, adopting technology for improving quality of education, that is the second part. I mentioned about two driving forces. One was COVID. Second is to improve quality of education. Technology was being used even from pre-COVID time. And that's a gradual change which was happening. But after COVID, that pace of development has increased even in this segment also. Let us see how technology can be adopted. Now, you take one example, the teaching aids, what different type of teaching aids which we are using. We started with the blackboard, right? Then various changes happened, even OHP. I remember during my BTech days, we used to present seminar through overhead projector. Maybe most of you who are engineering college teachers, you might have done that way only, OHP. Then came TV, the PC, laptops, tablets, smartphones, etc. and even interactive whiteboards, right? Now, I understand in St. Thomas School also interactive whiteboards are being used in the school classes. How many of you have used whiteboards? Can you raise your hands? Your secretary is also there, at least you can also see how many have used. All, right, very good. But some of them are raising their hand very reluctantly. So all of you are used. Can anyone tell me what is the advantage you are getting by using a whiteboard compared to conventional blackboard or conventional whiteboard, let us say? Right? Can anyone? You remember the first statement which I made during starting the session, right? Can anyone explain? Right, madam? Yeah.
Students themselves can interact when, apart from the ancient the demonstration by the teacher,
Right.
the students are able to come forward and they are, for example, when quiz or puzzle is presented over there,
Right.
they will be able to select the correct answer for the thing.
Right.
And the examples, for example, in maths and all, quizzes are used and puzzles are used and they can be solved by touching. First of all, they can touch the board and they can, and more stories related to things. The stories which are presented through the interactive boards, they can make utilize. Visually, it is a very good read for them.
Right.
Because nowadays they are having the photographic memory there with the children. So visually, it is a very good read for them, apart from lecturing and all. So I think it is enabling the child to interact. More possibilities there in that smart classroom. So it is it enhances the multiple intelligence in the classroom.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, madam. So there are different aspects which she has mentioned. What is visual impact and active participation of the student and all that. So let us see whether it is a scientific, any explanation is there for that. So how many of you have heard about this Dale's cone of experience? Dale's cone of experience. See, 1960s, Edgar Dale theorized that learners retain more information by what they do as opposed to what is heard, read or observed. And he has developed a principle that is summarized as Dale's cone of experience. How many of you have heard? Can you raise your hand? I think it's part of your B.Ed curriculum, right? Isn't it? No, it's called Dale's cone of experience, right? Okay, I'll explain that. This is called Dale's cone of experience. That is 10% of what you read. See, a person can remember 10% of what he reads, right? 20% of what you hear, right? So during our school or college days, we had these two options, reading and hearing, right? That was the only two options. So we could absorb only 30%, right? That was the situation. But 30% you can absorb if you see, that is visual impact. If you add visual impact to your teaching, 30% more impact is there. So 30%, not 30% more, we can say reading and hearing you can have total 30% only, but visual itself you can give 30% absorption. You can absorb 30% of what you see, right? Then 50% of what you see and hear. If you add visual impact alone, total 50% is there, right? 70% of what you say and write, that is not from your side, from the student side. If they speak and they write, right, you make them write and you make them speak, then it is 70%, right? If it is one-sided from the teacher to that side alone, it's only maximum 50%, including visual impact, right? So even if you use a smart whiteboard, interactive whiteboard, and you add visual impact to your teaching, still, unless you make the children to say and to write from their side, then you cannot increase their the effectiveness. So it is 70% if you make them do that. Then 90% of what they do, you make them do some activities, then it becomes 90% effective, right? So this second part, that 70%, this 50% onwards, that is called active learning. This part. So this is called active learning, right? And what we have in a conventional classroom is passive learning. That is called a passive learning. That means you are in the environment of reading, hearing, and maybe some visual impact, right? If you create only that environment, that is called passive learning. But if you involve children also in that process by making them do some activities or involving them in some of the activities, then it becomes active learning. So how do you do that? Say participate on hands-on workshops. That's why workshops are important. Design collaborative lessons. Simulate a model or experience. In our days, like science exhibition and all, we ask children to make some models. With great difficulty, children will prepare some models and we conduct some exhibition sort of thing. But today with the technology, any day you can do that without much difficulty, right? Then you can ask them to design and perform a presentation or experiment. With the latest technologies, this is possible. So when Dale has conceived this idea or proposed this idea, the environment for active learning was not available. It was not that easy, right? To make a science exhibition, it was a much difficult task, right? You have to make so much of preparations. Students, they have to make so many days hard work. Then only you can do that. But in today's environment, everything is possible without much difficulty. That is the difference. So You are changing from passive learning environment to active learning environment with the technology. So in short, technology can improve quality of service by this transformation. That is from active learning to passive learning to active learning. When you transform that environment, that improves quality of education. So anybody has got any comments on that, or you want to add something on this? Because some of the B.Ed, maybe who have done B.Ed, maybe this is one of the topic which you discussed there, right? Anybody has done this? You want to add any comments on this? As I told earlier, let us make it more interactive. Anything you want to add, madam? Yeah. Okay, let us move forward. Comments on this. So basically we are going to use technology to create this environment, that is active learning environment for the children. So what are the technologies available to make it? And if you are thinking that these technologies are future technologies, as I mentioned earlier, it's not so. It's available right now. There are various platforms available for that. So adopting technology by doing things, it is known as experimental learning or action learning. So there are various aspects related to that. The benefits are persistence and retention, increased academic outcomes, fulfillment of social outcomes, increases knowledge of faculties and students. So these are the various aspects of an active learning environment. So it's not just teaching, the process of teaching alone what technology can contribute. In all the areas of education sector, that is including the institution, the technology can make a lot of impact. So what are the areas? One is the technology can have impact on teaching, learning, that is what we have discussed just now. Evaluation process, not just teaching and learning, evaluation, student evaluation or teacher evaluation. So evaluation process also technology can play a major role. There are platforms available for that. Then teacher preparation and professional development. For planning your a particular day session or over a period of time, what all activities are to be planned for a particular teacher or for a group of teachers or for the complete teachers in that school, there are platforms available, technology can support you. Then educational access, there are various type of platforms available, technology is supporting that. Educational planning, that is from institutional perspective, from institution side, educational planning, educational management, education administration, all these areas, technology can play a major role. We will be coming to some of these points subsequently. Now, what are the technologies which are involved in this process? Or what are the technologies which are playing a key role in our present environment in all aspects of our life? Before coming to that, with all these technologies, the role of teacher is getting changed, right? It is not the conventional type of teacher which you are looking for today. Can you have throw some light on that? How a teacher is perceived in today's environment by the children compared to, say, our student life? Anybody? Second or the third or fourth bench, anybody? Share your thoughts. That will be maybe relevant, or even if it's not relevant, it's okay. Expected teacher to be tech savvy. Okay, that is one aspect of it, right? Right, anybody else?
differently compared to our days, digital days.
You know, it's not audible, madam. Can you switch on the mic?
Yeah. Nowadays they consider it to be more friendly, accessible, whereas in our student days they were like other days, placed on a pedestal, and they were not that accessible or that approachable.
Okay, right. Right. Basically, a teacher is transformed into a facilitator for education. Right. Earlier in olden days, we were looking at teacher as a person who know everything. Right. Whatever we ask, he should know. That was our impression about a teacher. Right. In today's environment, that is just not possible. Right. Because everything, particularly the environment, is changing at a very fast rate. Unlike our days, it is changing. Every aspect of our life is changing very fast. So you cannot have knowledge about every aspect of everything, but you have to be a facilitator for learning. That is the way today teachers are being perceived or expected to be. So what are the qualities required for a teacher in that environment? That we will be seeing later. So what are the technologies which are playing a role in this environment? One is the connectivity, which I already mentioned. There are various options: fiber, Wi-Fi, 5G. Just before proceeding further, let me just ask some query about this 5G or 4G or 3G. Not as a teacher or as a common user, you should be aware what is the difference finally. We started with the 2G. Myself and Matthew Saju sir, we were a part of telecom sector also. So we started with the 2G service, and now we are almost in 5G platform. 4G is there, 5G is coming. So can anyone say what is the major difference in layman's language, not as a technical person, right? I don't want to trouble you. See, 2G was designed for voice communication. See, all information what we use today, it can be broadly classified into two categories. One is voice. Second is data. Video is also considered as data, right? So voice has got a certain type of characteristics. Data has got different type of characteristics. So the various telecom networks are designed for these two environment in different ways. So 2G was mainly designed for voice environment, because when we started the mobile service, the basic requirement was voice communication. And when we started the mobile network in India, you know what was the per minute rate? 16 rupees, right? Can you imagine? 16 rupees per minute, that was the rate. So from 2G to 3G, when you go, 3G is designed for both voice and data. Right? Because when we started with the 2G, voice facility is not sufficient to take care of the data requirement that is felt by the operators as well as the customers. Then a platform came which is available for both data and voice. So 3G has got two platforms, one is for voice, one is for data. So it is designed for both voice and data. And 4G and 5G are designed for data basically, not voice. Voice is also transmitted as data in 4G and 5G platform. So this is the basic difference, right? So 4G and 5G means it's basically data-centric network. It's mainly for data only. And voice is also transmitted as data in 4G and 5G platforms. That is the main difference from technology perspective, right? So the type of access which is available to the campus or to the students, that is one concern, the technological aspects. Now 5G is coming. 5G has got a much faster speed compared to even 3G or 4G. But then the connectivity is available. What type of application you are going to plan with that technology, that is important. Then another aspect is adaptive learning. I'll be discussing on some of the technological aspects, what is the meaning of that adaptive learning. Then handheld devices, we have already discussed. Smart boards and panels, you are already aware, you are already using it. Then there is a technology called blockchain. I don't know, some of you might have heard about that, or at least you might have heard about cryptocurrency. That everyone, because of TV news and channels, you might have heard about cryptocurrency. The basic fundamental, technology behind cryptocurrency is blockchain. But that is also going to play, or in fact, it's right now available, playing a major role in education segment. Machine learning or artificial intelligence, augmented reality and virtual reality, and various educational software packages available. So these are the various technologies which are going to play a major role in education segment. What we started is to transform from passive learning to active learning. You can make use of all this a mix of these technologies. But then one caution, even if technology is available, unless your objective is kept in mind, your basic objective is to make the environment from passive to active. That is the basic objective. So if that is kept in mind, and if the technologies are used in a proper form, then quality of education, there will be a considerable change from say 10 to 20% to 90% effectiveness, right? Now some of these points which I just mentioned, some of the jargons like adaptive learning. What is the meaning of adaptive learning? And you should understand there are platforms available right now on this, based on these technologies in education segment. Like say there are 3 students A, B, C. Now what is done is, there a pointer work ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടോ? Now see first data capture and analysis. Data capture and analysis. See basically the student related information, it is captured continuously in the system, right? Based on his performance, his assessment of his evaluation on various factors, that is captured. And we ask some questions to the students based on say some subject oriented or some various levels, like suppose let us say for a particular subject mathematics, some quiz type of some questions we ask the student. That is to assess his level, his present level, and how he can be, his level can be increased to next level. To get a feedback, you can prepare some questions, and so there are platforms readily available to take care of this aspect. How the system is working, just I am sharing with you. So once these 2 things are done, then the system will automatically suggest you what is the type of modification required for that particular student, right? Normally in a classroom environment, it's a common content which is shared with every student, right? You prepare one content, one particular textbook or one particular aspect of everything, and you share with every children. But there are different levels for each child, and corresponding to the requirement, the specific requirement of any particular student, how do you modify the content? That is what is being done in adaptive learning, right? Based on student capacity to absorb, and as well as his present level, and his interest, the learning process itself or learning path itself is changed depending on the requirement. That is called adaptive learning. So there are different paths. Say student A, B, C, he will be taking different paths during the level. So for these platforms, online platforms, like in your conventional offline system will continue, along with that, supplementing that, there has to be some online platforms which can take care of this process. That is called adaptive learning, right? now coming to another jargon, virtual reality. What do you mean by virtual reality, right? In virtual reality, there are two aspects, virtual reality and augmented reality. As teachers, at least you should know some of these technologies. It may not be in depth. You may not be a technology expert in these particular fields, but we should know what is available and what is the use of such technology in education segment, right? So virtual reality, by virtual reality, the user enter a completely virtual world, right? All sights, sounds, objects and actions are simulated, a simulated environment, completely simulated environment. Basically, in this technology, the student has to use a headset. That's what you have seen in the initial video, right? Like any environment or any experiment you can create with a virtual world through this virtual reality. Or even a fire incident or a hazardous environment or a chemical explosion or something of serious, hazardous environment you want to create. In real world, you cannot do that. It's difficult. But in virtual world, you can do that, and student will be feeling a sense of that. So that's what is being done in virtual reality. So, but then coming to augmented reality, it's a one grade less than virtual reality, but then it is a mix of real world and virtual world. Not completely in virtual world. It's a mix of real environment plus a part of virtual simulated environment. That's called augmented reality. It's not completely virtual, it's augmented. So the meaning is data projected along with real world objects in augmented reality. Smartphones or see-through viewing glasses like Google Glass or HoloLens. Microsoft has come out with their product also. HoloLens is available for Microsoft. Google has got Google Glass, etc. So these technologies are available right now. So for augmented reality, basically what they are seeing in the real world, in that additional information is provided through augmented reality. That is what is done. In comparison with virtual reality, is completely virtual environment. So the new age educational platforms, they are also using a part of these type of technologies, right? But it's available. Some of the free, systems are available. Some are paid also, but systems are available. Already platforms are available by various vendors like Microsoft or Google. Various platforms are available. Another aspect is machine learning. That is what I mentioned in the technology. What are the different levels of technology? Machine learning is another technology which is playing a key role in educational segment. That is basically machine learning is, in fact, it is a part of artificial intelligence. By artificial intelligence, what you are doing, intelligence is being inducted to a machine to perform certain things, right? That intelligence can be a programmed intelligence or learned intelligence from environment. Machine can learn from its environment. So that is called machine learning. We can make the machine learn from different situations or from the different environment which is handling. So the data is fed into the machine, but the data is analyzed and it is building an analytical model, right? Let us see one example. Here, your school, St. Thomas School, how many students are there? Around 3,000. 3,000 plus, yeah. 3,000 students are there. 8,000. Oh, God. Right. Okay. 8,000 students, right? So, these 8,000 students, performance analysis as a summary if you want to take, is it that easy? Maybe each class teacher, they may have some data about the student performance, right? But then detailed analysis like in today's world, one more aspect is not just IQ it is not sufficient. There is something called EQ, emotional quotient of a student, EQ. That is very much required in today's environment, right? So what is the level of EQ of a student? In each, 8,000 students if you want to analyze, it is just not possible. But a machine can do that. How it is done? Like if you have a system, that system is interacting with the student, and the system will collect some details, send some details about that student. The student's EQ level can be assessed by a machine, right? And you can have readily data available, the EQ level, or in a particular situation, how the student will behave, or what sort of support is required for the student. You will be able to make some analysis by an analytical model. That's what a machine does. That's called machine learning. So learn from data, machine learning using computers to find hidden pattern without being explicitly programmed. It's not programming type of thing, it's learning from the environment. So in prediction and classification works, this machine learning works. Like I mentioned, is these 8,000 students, suppose EQ levels you classify, grading the EQ level of each student, the machine can classify and it will give a report about each student. It is possible. So prediction and classification, machine learning can be used. So the machine learning, what are the aspects? Using data to automatically analyze and build an analytical model. So what are the type of work which you are planning to do? So that model is prepared, that machine, and hidden patterns, uses computers to find hidden patterns without being explicitly programmed. So whatever I already mentioned, just repeating again, works especially well in prediction and classification. Machine learning in education segment, how it can be done. One is scheduling algorithms. See, for a optimal and adapted teaching policy to help students to learn more effectively, that is scheduling algorithms, right? Now, in today's normally conventional approach, what we do, you prepare a timetable, right, for the students, right? That timetable based on our available resources, but not based on the student's need, right? We can schedule the academic program or the teaching policy itself based on the need of the student by scheduling algorithms which is available. See, the sequence in which you are following different modules, which sequence if you follow will be more effective for a particular class of students, that also can be found out from scheduling algorithms. So teaching policy can be scheduled properly by machine learning algorithms or platforms. Then content analysis. The content which you are presenting to the student, normally CBSE or ICSE, they specify some syllabus for the students for a particular class. But within that syllabus itself, how do you present the content? Is it sufficient to take care of the student expectation or to the support that is required for the student? The content can be analyzed and optimized. And a particular syllabus you are covering through various aspects. One is teaching, actual teaching. Second is by assignment or assessment, lecture videos, etc. Various platforms you can use for explaining a particular module, right? Various type of approaches you can take. What will be the best mix of these various platforms? That can be analyzed through platforms available with machine learning and content analysis. That is what sort of content that can be optimized. Then grading system. Student response to assessments and computer assignments at large scale, that can be done to grade the students. Now grading, basically the conventional type of marking also can be made more effective with this type of platforms. And learning analytics, like how much the student has absorbed, like our Dale cone of experience, you have seen 10%, 20%, 90%. Whether he has reached up to 90% level or he is still at 50%, that also can be analyzed. Learning analytics. Now, another technology platform which I just mentioned is AI, artificial intelligence. So that also all of you might have heard this word AI. So artificial intelligence, how do you define artificial intelligence? So one definition is computer systems able to perform tasks normally requiring human intelligence. That is dictionary meaning, right? So human intelligence, if you can make it in a machine, that computer systems which can perform these tasks which requires human intelligence, that is called artificial intelligence. But then a detailed definition is like this. Basically, the machines are designed to interact with the world through different environment like visual perception, speech recognition. That means machine learning process is a part of artificial intelligence. So you can make the machine to sense various aspects like visual, speech recognition, etc. and intelligent behavior. Once it is sensed, the machine will, like robots and all that you might have seen in movies, how it is behaved or how it is trained. It is not by computer programming, it is by learning from environment. A simple example of say machine learning, simplest example of machine learning, let us say audio recognition systems, right? Initially, when you speak some words, maybe the response from that machine may not be proper, right? But as you go on, the machine will adapt to your the type of accent or the tone which you are using, and the response will be better over a period of time. Speech recognition systems. So that is all part of machine learning. That is also part of this AI. Machine learning is a subset of AI, we can say. So, so finally, the objective is to make it a human intelligence or human behavior in machines, that type of environment we are creating through artificial. But what is the significance in education segment? There are various aspects where AI used in educational segment. Typical applications of AI, one is personalized tutor. There are platforms available. I mentioned in the beginning, these technologies what we are discussing, these are not future technologies, these are available right now. Say in internet you can search this particular site that is a personalized tutor. Means, as I mentioned earlier, in a classroom you are taking a common content with everyone, but there are certain students who need special care or special content or special type of environment by which he can pick up. So there are platforms available which provide personalized tutor. These are all supplementary to offline classes which you are taking. You can utilize such platforms. So improve both learners as well as tutors' performance by these platforms. So that is one aspect of AI is personalized tutor. Second is improved assessment system. Like as I mentioned, this 8,000 students under St. Thomas Trust, if you want to assess properly at micro level, not just marks, say out of 100 marks, how much they have got, not that aspect alone, including their EQ levels, their personal behavior, and their various aspects of competency. If you want to measure and assess, AI type of systems and platforms are available today. Now coming to another technology, and all of you should understand, all these technologies are highly technical aspects, and a post-lunch session like this, we cannot expect, and I don't expect you to, get every aspect of this. At least you should be aware these things are available in today's environment, and that is being used in the educational segment today, right? That is the objective. So blockchain is basically a decentralized ledger technology. Now without going to the technological jargons, I'll give another example. Let us say here 8,000 students are there in St. Thomas. This blockchain is a technology which at least the technology basic idea you should have. Like cryptocurrency is one thing which is using blockchain technology. And there are many aspects in telecom sector we are using this blockchain technology. Agriculture sector now central government is using extensively to connect to rural area also by blockchain technology. So this technology is going to play a major role in the coming future like internet. It's going to be another revolution with the blockchain technology. So we should know what is the basic idea of a blockchain technology. Like this St. Thomas, you have 8,000 students and you want to maintain an academic record of each student, let us say, right? So what do? The class teacher will maintain a physical register, or class teacher in his or her laptop or desktop, you will create a database. Each student based on or otherwise, let me ask you, how do you do it now? Can anyone explain? Then we can proceed further. What is the method you are adopting now for keeping academic record of students here? Academic record means not the final exam percentage of marks, like you conduct periodic sessional exams or intermediate exams, etc. So that also you keep a record, right? Right, madam? So what you do? Can you explain?
So as you said, we have the physically, also we write it down, as well as we have employed student portal, teachers portal.
Teachers portal, which is centrally maintained,
Yeah.
right? In the school, right? So student portal you access through internet.
Yes, internet is open.
Okay, through internet you access the student portal and update the details. So all the details are updated regularly
Yes, regularly.
at micro level, like including
As well as attendance also.
attendance also in the student portal only, right? So every day you take attendance manually and you update in the system, right? Like that only, right?
Manual registers also.
Manual registry is also maintained, and plus you are updating in the student portal. I think that's what is being done. Okay. So now let me ask you, suppose a student, there is some correction required. So just not our madam, like, so some correction is required. So what do you do? Like there is some mistake, the attendance is to be corrected. So what is the process involved in correcting the attendance? So, like attendance, let me say, he was present by mistake, it was not marked, or he was sent for some like a school duty, let us say, hypothetically. So there is some mistake or some correction required. What is the present system available for correcting it? Right? Yeah? You have to give? No, clear madam. Edit options are available. So that edit option is available only to the teachers or to the students? Only to the teachers, right? So every time you have to edit and correct it, right? Okay, but that also you have to correct in the manual register also, right? Manual register also we correct. And finally, suppose you have to take a progress report of the student or the attendance during the last 6 months, let us say. So that is available from the system. You can take the report, right? Okay. So issuing a certificate to the student, what you do? You have to tell the school authorities. Or are you authorized to issue a certificate? No, right? Suppose there is an automatic system to take care of all these aspects, what you just now explained, like the manual, you have to keep a manual register, plus you have to update in a portal, right, for all the students. Average every class, how many students are there? 50? 45, right? So the 45 students you have to keep a track, and you have to periodically update, and any corrections you have to make, and that sort of environment. Instead of that, so presently the portal what you are telling, where is the database available? Where is the database? The final data, where it is maintained? Pardon? Cloud memory. Right. Okay. So basically it is a centralized database. Right. It is centralized in a server. Right. It is centralized in a server. Now, suppose there is a system crash. That server something happens. So what do you do? Very difficult question. So what will happen? Error? You have a manual system, right? Okay. Whether it is that simple, easy? These 8,000 students using a manual system. See, crashing a system is very much possible. You should not laugh at it, because it happened for Google server and Facebook. You might have heard about that. Facebook was not available for say half an hour or 1 hour time because their server crashed. It is possible. So a centralized database, the main drawback is if the system or server is crashing, everything is collapsed, right? Right? You have a different type of approach, let us say distributed system. It's called a distributed ledger technology. I mentioned the last third paragraph. It's called DLT. DLT is a common word being used in technological platforms now. Distributed ledger technology. It's equivalent to your register, right? Now you have each class teacher has got a separate register, right? So when the central server is crashed, you are depending on your register, right? That's a distributed one, right? Let us say that each class teacher is having separate register, that each data is computerized in a different, and it's stored in a different environment separately with every class teacher, but it's linked together. Let us take another situation. Each class teacher, let us say 45 students data, complete data is available with the class teacher as a manual platform. Instead of that class teacher, that 45 students data is computerized or maintained in a platform, and it is linked with all the other class teachers database, and this class teacher is able to access any other students. Like it's almost like a centralized access, but then stored in a different distributed way. Any possibility of complete collapse? Is it there then? The data is distributed among, say 300 teachers are here, 300 teachers, let us say, right? Even if one server or one system is that it is crashing, it will not affect balance 299, right? Right? Damage is not that serious. You understand? That is called a distributed or decentralized ledger technology. Instead of a centralized server system, you have decentralized registers. Ledger means a register only, or database. From that register only this word has come. So that is called a DLT type of platform. Right? Now, see, these are platforms which are being widely used in different type of applications. You may not be aware of that. Like you are getting in telecom segment, you are getting various type of nuisance or marketing type of calls and messages, right? Right? All of you are getting, right? Some of them are fraud messages also, but the fraud messages are not authentic messages. But some people who are misusing the platforms. But then even unwanted marketing messages, you don't want to get disturbed by that messages, but sometimes it is coming, let us say. These messages are not pushed by the telecom operator. BSNL as such, or as a telecom operator or other operators, they are not pushing directly. These are done by some marketing agents. We have tie up with n number of marketing agents. So many are there. They have some agreement. They are promoting some business. They are working for some people. But then the messages or content what is being pushed by these people are going through a system called DLT platform. which is being maintained by Department of Telecom now. Now from recently it is centralized and it is being monitored also. You have a system, unsolicited messages or calls you can block in the system, right? Many of you are aware. How it is done? See, these messages can be originated by, it's not by any particular operator, by anyone who is there anywhere in the country, right? Sitting at, say, Punjab or any other place, they can send message to you. But any message can be blocked because of this particular type of application, which is called DLT type of platform, decentralized ledger technology. Coming back to the original this thing, your situation. The 8,000 students, I come down to see 300 teachers. 300 teachers are maintaining the records of 45 students, right? Each teacher maintaining 45 students. Even if there is a crash in the system, one of the system, only 299, one teacher is affected, 299 is not affected, right? But still, 45 students are affected, right? So how do you take care of that? Can you go further down? Suppose you permit each student to maintain the record. Each student to maintain the record and keep updating the details in the system, right? Even if there is a system crash, only one student is affected, right? Any system maintained by that particular student only, that will be affected. Can you do that? You will say all the students will be excellent in that situation, right? If the students are permitted to update their own records. But there are data protection or levels of security available which will not permit the modification by the students. There are system integrated safety, the protection methods available. So each student is given permission to update the details about his performance in the system. There are set rules and regulations to take care of the manipulation or tampering. And once it is fed into the system, the student cannot modify it. That type of system is available. That is called a blockchain. That means each performance by any individual is integrated into a chain of block of data. These data are stored as each block. Say one student data is stored as one block, not as a separate server. I mentioned as each student is permitted to update in the server, in the sense it's not separate server for each student. In the platform, student is creating a block of data for each assessment, and every time it is getting updated. So that chain of data blocks, that is how the name blockchain has come, right? Data is stored as different blocks for each individual aspect or individual event, and that is linked in a particular format, taking care of all other secure tampering or other aspects. That is maintained properly in the system. That is called a chain of data blocks. That is called a blockchain. So blockchain is a data store that grows continuously, right? See, now 8,000 students are there. Now another 10 students are coming, let us say, adding to the system. What we have to do is, we don't have to make any major modification. 10 more blocks are to be created in the system. That's all. It will be very easy to grow. Then it's immutable. It cannot be edited or deleted after getting into the database. That is important. That's how you are taking care. So this technology is used for cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, there are different, I'll not go to the details because that itself is another technical topic, but you should understand these type of platforms are available and being used in educational segment also today. So how it is done? No, that is okay. So various aspects. Basically, see, some of the universities. Earlier I asked, suppose you want to issue a certificate It is not possible in the present system. The system administrator, college management, they have to do it. But in the blockchain technology, with all this security and protection mechanisms, the certificate will be automatically can be issued by the system. So it's highly flexible, highly authentic type of platform which is available with this blockchain technology. Now I'm coming to almost the final stage. What are the qualities? Now we have discussed so many technologies and how it is, what is the impact in education segment, how it can be utilized. Now coming to this particular aspect, what are the qualities required for a digitally transformed teacher? So to use the digital environment or the future is also with the digital environment, the teacher also to be transformed to digital environment, right? So what are the qualities required for a digitally transformed teacher? For the children it is not required, they are automatically getting done. There is no other special effort required for that. So the first aspect is digital literacy. In today's session is also a part of that. A digital literacy, like the type of environment like blockchain, so many technologies we have mentioned, at least you have come to know such word. I mean, such type of aspects are there in the environment. So digital literacy is important. Second aspect is flexibility and adaptability, right? That is required, very much required in the digital environment, because digital environment is fast changing. So today you have learned one type of technology, one type of environment or one type of aspect of it. Today it may change. We should be flexible and adaptable to the changes in the environment or technologies. Third, lifelong learning. That is required for a digitally transformed teacher. We should be able to update our knowledge periodically. It's a lifelong learning process in the digital environment, because so much of information, so much of various aspects are available in today's environment. Fourth is awareness about legal and ethical issues. Like digital platforms, when you use, there are many aspects about, say, copyright issues or privacy issues. So there are legal and ethical issues which you have to be aware of that. Fifth aspect is awareness of threats, that is net safety. When you are connected to a digital environment, you have to be aware of various threats available, not only about you, about the students also, right? This COVID online platform time, there were so many type of incidents which happened, like certain type of misuses. I'll quote some examples. See, basically everybody is concerned about money mainly, right? Your banking transaction, banking information. So the type of security which is being inbuilt in Indian system is two levels. One is username password, second is OTP, right? All of you are aware. Any financial transaction today we have two type of security check. One is username password, second is OTP, right? So but still so much of fraud is happening. How it is happening? And there was some particular incident, I don't know where it happened, somebody has told me. In fact, my wife is also teaching in a college, I think she told me. During online classes, say one particular teacher, somehow one of the student, he has come to know about the username password of that particular teacher, right? Bank username password. How the student will come to know? There are various methods. Suppose you are noting down in your diary or register, definitely there will be a possibility, I mean, they will come to know. There are chances. Second is easily decoding type of username password, particularly password, right? Your name or date of birth or something which can be known by or guessed by the people easily. So username password is very important. That should be maintained properly. So somehow the student has come to know the username password. So he has accessed the bank transaction, this thing, but then OTP has come. Second is OTP. During online classes, whatever is displayed in the screen, that can be seen by the student also, right? So he has got the OTP. So there was some incident like that. Now there are so many bank frauds which are happening. So there what is happening is the username password. There is another incident which we have come to know. One of the institution, the management, they have thrown out one of the person in the administration side. So that person was aware of the institution's bank account details, that is the username password, right? So what he has done is, with some of the documents, he has approached one of our customer service center. He has taken a duplicate SIM. So how the people they are taking, I mean the OTP, I told there are 2 security checks. Why these things are required? I mean, all of you should be aware how it is happening, and you should be able to guide the students or the people around you. So once you have the username password, second aspect is they should have some mechanism to get OTP, right? Then only the fraud will happen. So the OTP, what they do normally, SIM, duplicate SIM, if they are able to take with that SIM, they can get OTP. So that particular employee, he has managed to take the duplicate SIM. Normally we insist for original ID cards. If you go for any duplicate SIM with any operator, now they insist for the person directly should come, and they should come with original ID card and all that. That is because of these bank frauds only. So somehow he managed with the photocopy. He got the duplicate SIM. Lakhs of rupees were taken out from the the institution's account. So finally, the compliant original management has approached us. Immediately, the SIM was blocked and all that. But this is how the SIM fraud can happen, and they can get OTP. There is another method. Your mobile handset, if you download certain applications which are not authorized or not authentic, there is possibility that link which you are clicking, that will encrypt some particular program in your mobile. That can, then your mobile is hacked, we can say. Whatever information is there in your mobile, that person can get. So when you install any program or any applications in your mobile, we have to be sure that that is authentic document, authentic application. So normally what is done for banking, to be on the safer side, for banking transaction, the mobile what you use and the classrooms or normal common business application you use, these two are separated by many people to be on the safer side. Like you use a tab for classroom sessions and normal phone for the banking transaction, etc. That is another method. So that's how the threats are there. So awareness of threats and net safety, that is also one aspect which teachers or the digitally transformed teachers, they should be aware, right? Next is awareness about possible misuse of platforms by students, right? They are open to the internet. They can use it in an effective way or they can misuse it. So what is recent times we have seen some trend online games and all. Students are addicted to that and they end up in some trouble. After reaching a limit only we will come to know. So we should be aware of their their behavioral pattern. Will come to know. Suppose suddenly there is a performance issue based on the student. We should cross check all these possibilities. Then logical thinking and problem solving mind, right? So the platforms which you are using, how to use it, if there are some issues, how to solve it. So logical thinking and problem solving mind, that is another quality required for a digitally transformed teacher. Experimental and techno savvy, that is the point which you also mentioned. So that is another quality what is required. So these are some of the aspects which I wanted to share with you. If you have any doubts, we can have some interaction for a few minutes. If anything you want to get clarified or you want to share, or I can learn from you, you can just share it with me right now? So if there are no questions, we'll wind up. Then the PPT is available with you. Maybe that can be shared, sir. They can get the copy of the PPT. You can use it effectively. Right? Okay, thank you. And thank you for the patience, for patient listening. Thank you.